Marine VHF radio refers to the radio frequency range between 156.0 and 162.025 MHz, inclusive. In the official language of the International Telecommunication Union, the band is called the VHF Maritime Mobile Band. Marine radio equipment is installed on all large ships and most seagoing small craft. It is also used, with slightly different regulation, on rivers and lakes. It is used for a wide variety of purposes, including summoning rescue services and communicating with harbors, locks, bridges and marinas, and operates in the very high frequency range, between 156 and 162.025 MHz. Although it is widely used for collision avoidance, its use for that purpose is contentious and is strongly discouraged by some countries, including the UK. A marine VHF set is a combined transmitter and receiver and only operates on standard, international frequencies known as channels. Channel 16 is the International Calling and Distress Channel. Transmission power ranges between 1 and 25 watts, giving a maximum range of up to about 60 nautical miles between aerials mounted on tall ships and hills, and 5 nautical miles between aerials mounted on small boats at sea level. Frequency modulation is used, with vertical polarization, meaning that antennas have to be vertical in order to have good reception. Modern-day marine VHF radios offer not only basic transmit and receive capabilities. Permanently mounted marine VHF radios on seagoing vessels are required to have certification of some level of digital selective calling capability, to allow a distress signal to be sent with a single button press. Marine VHF mostly uses simplex transmission, where communication can only take place in one direction at a time. A transmit button in the set or microphone determines whether it is operating as a transmitter or a receiver. Some channels, however, are duplex transmission channels where communication can take place in both directions simultaneously when the equipment on both ends allow it, otherwise semi-duplex is used. Each duplex channel has 2 frequency assignments. Duplex channels can be used to place calls on the public telephone system for a fee via a marine operator. When full duplex is used, the call is similar to one using a mobile phone or landline. When semi-duplex is used, voice is only carried one way at a time and the party on the boat must press the transmit button only when speaking. This facility is still available in some areas, though its use has largely died out with the advent of mobile and satellite phones. Marine VHF radios can also receive weather radio broadcasts, where they are available. Types of equipment: sets can be fixed or portable. A fixed set generally has the advantages of a more reliable power source, higher transmit power, a larger and more effective aerial and a bigger display and buttons. A portable set can be carried on a kayak, or to a lifeboat in an emergency, has its own power source and is waterproof if GMDSS approved. A few portable VHFs are even approved to be used as emergency radios in environments requiring intrinsically safe equipment. Marine radios can be voice-only, or can include digital selective calling. Voice-only equipment is the traditional type, which relies totally on the human voice for calling and communicating. Digital selective calling equipment, a part of the global maritime distress safety system, provides all the functionality of voice-only equipment and, additionally, allows several other features. A transmitter can automatically call a receiver equipped with digital selective calling, using a telephone type number known as a Maritime Mobile Service Identity or MMSI. The DSC information is sent on the reserve channel 70. When the receiver picks up the call, his active channel is automatically switched to the transmitter's channel and normal voice communication can proceed. A distress button, which automatically sends a digital distress signal identifying the calling vessel and the nature of the emergency, a connection to a GPS receiver allowing the digital distress message to contain the distressed vessel's position. The MMSI is used for seagoing vessels and consists of a 9-digit number identifying a VHF set or group of sets. The left-hand digits of MMSI indicate the country and type of station. For example, here are MMSI prefixes of 4 station types: Ship 232, 233, 234 or 235 are the United Kingdom. A euro, for example, a UK ship, 232,003,556, coastal station, 00 a euro, for example, Solent Coast Guard, 0023200011, group of stations, 0 a euro, for example, 0232078823, portable DSC equipment, for UK 2359, for example. 235,900,498, for use on the inland waterways within continental Europe, a compulsory automatic transmitter identification system. Transmission conveys the vessel's identity after each voice transmission. This is a 10-digit code that is either an encoded version of the ship's alphanumeric call sign, or for vessels from outside the region, the ship Mmsi prefixed with 9. The requirement to use ATIS in Europe, and which VHF channels may be used, are strongly regulated, most recently by the Basel Agreements. Channels and frequencies. Simplex channels here are listed with the A and B frequencies the same. The frequencies, channels, and some of their purposes are governed by the ITU. For an authoritative list, see. The original allocation of channels consisted of only channels 1 to 28 with 50 kHz spacing between channels, and the second frequency for duplex operation 4.6 MHz higher. Improvements in radio technology later meant that the channel spacing could be reduced to 25 kHz with channels 60 to 88 interspersed between the original channels. Channels 75 and 76 are omitted as they are either side of the calling and distress channel 16, acting as guard channels. The frequencies which would have been the second frequencies for simplex channels are not used for marine purposes and can be used for other purposes that vary by country. For example, 161.000 to 161.450 MHz are part of the allocation to the Association of American Railroads channels used by railways in the USA and Canada. Notes: some radios enable channels 3A, 61A, and 64A when configured for USA mode, even though those channels are allocated exclusively for public safety use by the FCC. The frequencies 156.075, 156.150 and 156.225 MHz are used for interoperability communication by police and fire departments in many areas. Channel 22A is reserved for communication between the U.S. Coast Guard vessels and private vessels. The Coast Guard does not monitor 22A. Contact must first be established on 16. UKSAR land-based search and rescue teams have access to the simplexed versions of 24, 62, 63, 64, 85 for operational and training needs. These include mountain rescue teams in England, Wales and Scotland. CCG public operations moved from 22A to 04A to avoid interference from USCG stations in northern Washington state. Operating procedure. The accepted conventions for use of marine radio are collectively termed proper operating procedure. These conventions include, listening for 2 minutes before transmitting, using channel 16 only to establish communication and then switch to a different channel, using a set of international calling procedures such as the Mayday distress call, the Pan-Pan urgency call and ZAR copyright curator copyright navigational hazard call. Using pro words based on the English language such as acknowledge, all after, all before, all stations, confirm, correct, correction, in figures, in letters, over, out, radio check, read back, received, repeat, say again, spell, standby, station calling, this is, wait, word after, word before, wrong, using the NATO phonetic alphabet, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel, India, Juliet, Kilo, Lima, Mike, November, Oscar, Papa, Quebec, Romeo, Sierra, Tango, Uniform, Victor, Whiskey, X-ray, Yankee, Zulu, using a phonetic numbering system based on the English language or a combination of English and Roman languages, 1 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, et, nina, 0, decimal, alternatively in marine communication, unknown, bis 2, 3, Cart 4, Ponto 5, Soxa 6, Seta 7, Octate, Novinin, Nada 0. Slightly adjusted regulations can apply for inland shipping, such as the BAL rules in Western Europe. See also, 2182 kHz, Maritime Mobile Amateur Radio, Radio Horizon, Ship to Shore. References. External links, U.S. Coast Guard Basic Radio Information for Boaters, Coast Guard Marine Channel Listing, USFCC Marine Channel Listing, UKMCA Advice on use of VHF at sea, including collision avoidance, effective ranges, and international channel usage, Canadian VHF bans in the maritime service, VHF Marine Ban Plan in Turkey, listen live. VHF Marine Radio at East of Izmit Base / Turkey, New Zealand VHF Radio Resource Centre.